The worst affected sectors were the ones where consumers couldn't attend. Things like live entertainment, music, and particularly cinema was really hardly hit in 2020. And the thing there is it's nothing structurally wrong with those businesses. It's literally just people couldn't attend.
What sort of figures are we talking about? Cinema revenue down by around 2/3.
Yeah, well, total revenue, we look at ad spend as well as we look at the cinema box takings as well. And I think what we're seeing is that those trends obviously go together. I think it's more interesting when we look ahead to how they might actually come out of this as well, is we've actually got a path forward for cinema. But again, sporadic lockdowns like the ones that we have now in New South Wales and Victoria make that hard for them.
Yeah, now as you mentioned, advertising spend down by fell to $15.4 billion. Consumer spend fell to just over $42 billion. But there were some sectors that did well, the stay-at-home winners. So how did they perform?
Yeah, look, not surprising, during a lockdown, we saw really good growth in streaming services, both video and audio. And also those services where people had more time so they could try some things out. So we saw broadcast video on demand services do quite well also. So the lounge room during pandemic changed from just being the place where you went for, free to air or linear television to it became an entertainment hub for stream services, for video, for gaming, as well as linear TV.
Now you're optimistic about revenues coming back, but you say the shadow of COVID is still hanging over the entertainment industry.
Yeah, so it's going to be an asymmetrical recovery because we've got things like internet advertising that did well during the pandemic and will continue to do well. Whereas we've got other sectors, those two that I've mentioned already, filmed entertainment and also live entertainment, really they're beholden to what happens with lockdowns and vaccine rollouts. The other sector that took a really big hit in 2020 was the out-of-home industry, so outdoor advertising. That seems to be coming back pretty well, but maybe not as fast as some of the other sectors across entertainment and media.
So what will happen, do you think, to the film industry and the cinema industry?
So the challenge the cinema industry had in 2020, they kind of got three hits. One is they were largely shut for a lot of the year. The second thing is the streaming services started to take some of that audience. And then the other thing was they didn't have a great pipeline of new films coming in. So even if they could have opened earlier, there just weren't the films being finished. It's a very different picture for 2021. The back end of 2021, we've got this great slate of films that should be coming out, whether it's a new Spider-Man film, a new James Bond film, a new Matrix film. There's this great content now that's coming. They just need to be able to open their doors. And I think once the vaccine rollout is further along than it is today, and we can actually open cinemas more regularly and we're not subject to this on and off again system, I think that they should recover relatively quickly. We're hoping that they would get back to 2019 revenues within the 3-year period, if not sooner, as long as we can actually get people back in the seats.
What are the biggest challenges facing advertisers?
So the interesting thing in the pandemic is everybody's content appetite expanded. People tried new things. So people that may not have done gaming before might have gone on and tried it. People have tried different services, etc. They might have been logged onto ABC iView for the first time or another service. And so the challenge we've got is consumers only have a finite amount of time and they only have a finite amount of money. And I think the challenge that we've got is the attention's now being spread across a lot of different things. And if you think about your own content consumption during the pandemic, you probably maybe signed up to an extra service or logged into something else, or maybe watched a bit more YouTube or whatever it is. The challenge for advertisers, they're in a continuous fight for partial attention, which is how do I capture the attention of someone at the right moment and how do I retain it? And the challenge being more and more of people's time is on non-advertising supported platforms like the streaming services or the catch-up services, etc., which may not be advertising friendly. Therefore, when you do have them, you've just got to do a lot more with it. And that's where it's not just the media planning, it's actually also the creative quality that comes in that makes you relevant and distinctive when people do see what you're advertising.